The self-help world, with all its books, speakers and courses, is a thriving industry. People from all walks of life are keen to find new ways of thinking and living. Depression, the desire for success, the need for relationships and purpose cause millions of people to seek out life coaches and other motivational individuals. But how should a Hindu view self-help? How do these concepts fit in with Hindu teachings? There are many who look at the material within the self-help arena and see it as some kind of modern version of Hinduism, perhaps a version that is more relevant without the superstition, ritual and ungrounded mythology. Because they are both geared towards developing and progressing in life, they can sometimes mistakenly be seen as teaching similar things. There is of course some overlap. There are speakers who put forward ideas on how to rise beyond suffering through responsibility. There are others who provide techniques on how to disengage from the incessant thoughts in our mind. Added to this, there are numerous concepts which encourage positivity, discipline and good goal setting. But at the same time, there are aspects of the self-help scene that run in contradiction to some of the aims of Hindu Dharma. Although Hinduism as a wider spiritual culture does have different goals, it is the pursuit of liberation that lies at its core. The obsession with manifesting your desires, enhancing your self-esteem, being charismatic and building amazing relationships runs in opposition to this. Scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads and Yoga Sutras are moksha shastras, which means they teach us how to find the ultimate final solution to life. They instruct us on how to attain eternal freedom beyond this world. The situation is much like being trapped in a prison cell. There is a certain type of self-help philosophy that not only makes us put up with the prison cell, but even makes us forget we are in one. By feeding us various ideas and the possibility of pursuing fantasies and aspirations, it tries to make the prison cell look pretty. It adds furniture and pictures and various other decorations. Hindu Dharma is seeking to do something far more radical. It wants to tear down the walls of the cell and break free of the prison altogether. In other words, self-help philosophy collides with Hindu philosophy when it makes us feel that the solution to suffering is in this world around us. The more driven we are to finding real happiness in this world, the more we forget about trying to transcend it. But transcend does not mean abandoning this world. Much of the Gita is centered on karma yoga and devotion. It is about engaging with our responsibilities with detachment and offering the fruits of our endeavors to Krishna. When we adopt this attitude, ironically, our dedication to the world draws us more inwards. It opens us up to something higher than ourselves. Some principles of self-help can be transformative and provide useful stepping stones on a spiritual path, but rarely does it have the whole picture. Without the acknowledgement of a divine goal, there is a limit to what it can offer, and because of this, at times it can even do the exact opposite. We can get caught in trying to be enthusiastic and full of energy. The desires that ought to be renounced can end up being chased after. Instead of trying to detach and seek transcendence, we are urged to immerse ourselves in this material world. Through affirmations and using the law of attraction, we are propelled to make our dreams come true. Through karma yoga, however, we learn to accept what is, and through that acceptance, we see deeper into our existence. We are directed to perceive that life is not about forcing our will through, but rather about living in alignment with the will of the divine. That is Dharma. That is what it means to live your purpose. There are really only two philosophies of life, those that support the ego and those that transcend it. The more we affirm the sense of I, the notion that we are in control, that we are the masters of our destiny, the more our self-development is focused on personal gratification and the more the ego is empowered. The whole purpose of spiritual practice in Hinduism is to see past the false identity we carry. It is to recognize ourselves as the Atman, the divine self. And as the self, we are the witness, We are not attracted to the things around us, no matter how successful or charismatic they make us. The problem with some concepts within the self-help market is that they make us aspire for a poster pin-up of ourselves. Media, society, and friends around us feed our fantasies, and we start to project a vision of who we want to be. But this vision is merely an image that has been borrowed from the culture around us. It is not authentic. It is not us. Krishna tells us that each of us has been born with a certain svabhava, or inherent nature. This has been forged from previous karma, and our Dharma in this life is directly linked to it. The promise that we can be whoever we want is in many ways a mirage. It is the reason why so many individuals start the self-help journey pumped and excited. They take up courses and buy endless books. They excitedly jump from one idea to another. Then, after a few months or years of this, when nothing changes, there is dejection and frustration. Even if we do find some success, that success does not make us happy. We climb the mountain only to find there is nothing there. This happens because we are chasing something that runs against who we are. God has a plan for us. Instead of embracing our current situation and moving with the flow of life, we are trying to sustain the ego's desires. Throughout the Gita, Krishna directs Arjuna to surrender to him. He tells him that everything he does should be offered to him with love. He explains that the goal of life is not to give in to the ego's whims, but rather to develop a spirit of servitude, and through this, a divine relationship with him. The more we can do this, the more we expand our vision. We recalibrate our thinking and become simpler. Our existence is no longer about chasing petty highs and avoiding loss. We break down the perspective of everything being about what we want. The attitude of service is what awakens us to who we are as the Atman. It allows us to see the divinity that permeates our existence. The self-help industry does have value, and in many instances is completely in harmony with Hindu teaching. But it is important to decide if we want to decorate the prison cell we are in or escape from it. Do we want to run after the ego's desires, or are we willing to put them to one side and consciously respond to where life is directing us? In other words, do we see the world as our home, or the divine as our home? Many thanks for listening.